Hello everyone, Salam. Salam in my native indigenous language means greetings. I greet you in the name of the Most High, Divine Intelligence, known as the Father Presence, and the Unconditional Divine Love, known as the Mother Presence, within us, above us, and all around us. So today's video is inspired from a channeled message that I received from beloved goddess Athena, one of the 1,000 immortals from the great central sun. And when we speak of terms of the great central sun, it is to denote the highest frequency of cosmic light, cosmic divine love. So when we say the central sun, it means the highest, omnipotent, omnipresent, infinite source of cosmic light and cosmic divine love. And as we begin, I hope I'm looking into the camera, because in my last video, I realized after I finished recording, I realized I was looking up. It appeared like I'm speaking and looking at the ceiling. And so today I flipped the camera into selfie mode. I'm trying not to look at my own self right now as I speak, and I'm focusing upon the one single lens of the frontal camera, because my phone has apparently what looks like 3 different lenses, and I don't want to take a chance by getting so conscious, having my eyes turn around, look around, wondering if I'm looking up to the ceiling or up or down below. Which is a perfect example for today, as I'm guided to share about cycles and timelines and integrating into our conscious awareness of all the lessons that we learn for every cycle, for every chapter of our life, so to speak. And so this was a cycle that I had refused to learn, in the sense to face the camera, to speak up and face the camera, when my phone had just one single camera lens at the rear view. Now this time Spirit said, okay, let's slap it onto the next cycle, and we will make sure you get it done when there's 3 lenses that you have to look and face it, and well, never mind. It doesn't matter if I'm looking up in the ceiling or on the ground, as long as I'm able to bring forth the message that I'm guided to share. So we are all aware upon our own path of spirituality, because everything is spiritual in nature. All our consciousness, the amalgamation of our consciousness, the beingness that we carry. So whether it's spirit of hope, spirit of faith, spirit of greed, spirit of envy, spirit of justice, spirit of victory, spirit of anger, greed, lust, goes on and on. So upon this path that we have embarked upon as a soul, we choose to take up certain lessons as per different chapters of our life, so to speak. And if we look at the Vedic culture back in the day, they speak of the Navarasa, which basically means the 9 emotions that we carry, that we embody within our own energetic systems, of joy, happiness, anger, and of vengeance, wrath, of playfulness, of all of that. And these are also represented in different archetypes of the Nataraj, of Lord Shiva, who is denoted as Nataraj being the cyclical, the seasonal aspect of beingness, while if we look at certain different archetypes as Goddess Shakti or Goddess Kalima, even in the Egyptian culture we have Goddess Sekhmet, and different archetypes that represents different aspects that we choose to express as consciousness, that we choose to experience and evolve through it, expand through it. Because the God that we speak of, the infinite consciousness that is within us, above us, that is all around us, we choose to experience in the physical as the expression of God consciousness to the degree that the frequency of that we each have evolved as a soul, and we are ever evolving, ever expanding. And so I will speak from my own personal experiences, my own personal life story, because I do believe it would perhaps be relatable to you. When I grew up as a young child, by the time I turned the age of 10, I had already I say sort of because back when I was still a child, I did not know what darkness was in the sense of human emotions, because as a child, we come here free, joyful, liberated. And so to experience a plethora of human emotions through different experiences, sometimes we allow ourselves to take on certain personalities and identities that acts as defense mechanism. The ego is always this ego thinks it is serving ourselves, it is serving us, it is here to protect us. And so what the ego doesn't realize is that we are taking on certain forms of conditioning. So as we grow up during certain chapters of our life, through perhaps unfortunate experiences and instances and experiences, we tend to take on layers. So by the time I turned 10, I had faced a lot of abuse, unbeknownst to a lot of people, because it may appear that I grew up in a very protected environment, a family unit and all of that. And that makes it even more tricky because of what I went through from a seemingly protected environment is just something that people would not fathom. And so by the time I turned 20, I had a different perspective to life. And by the time I turned 30, so by the time I turned into a full-blown adult, I had collected this different multiple personalities, because the soul is not a personality. The soul is in its purity, the essence of its qualities that have evolved, the God qualities, the God essence qualities that have been evolved and expanded. Yet the human personality that we tend to collect, it is an amalgamation of all our experiences. And so as seasons go, and as I spoke of Navrasa, the emotions of different, the emotions that we choose to express in different personalities that we choose to embody can sometimes be a bit tricky for the human mind as we integrate after every cycle. So when we speak of cycles, it is just like we go through college semester, the first semester, second semester, third semester. If we pass through it, then we go into the next grade, and then we go again into the first, second, third semester. And if you're into tarot, we are aware of the world card that speaks of cyclical completion, the cycle completing, a cycle closing, but we make it only to that stage after we have gone through this process of embodying the different archetypes in that moment of any particular space-time continuum of an experience. So we are also aware of this spiraling nature of consciousness, that time is not linear when it comes to consciousness, because of something that if we experience a particular sense of elation, for example, that the human can perceive it as that which has been registered through an experience, we are immediately taken to that moment of, we associate it. An example would be if you have a certain song that is your childhood favorite music. Immediately when you listen to it, you go into that state of consciousness, or a perfume, or a smell, or a home-cooked meal, or any of that sort. So when it comes to consciousness, it is all cyclical in nature, yet it is how we deal with the cycles. And so for every cycle, we close chapters, we release, we let go, we surrender. The most important aspect that I have realized, because having closed out so many cycles and chapters, and it just seemed like never-ending cycles that I had to close out over the past few years especially, I realized that the one key aspect that I was overlooking was, well, integrating it was to still remain in a state of vulnerability with oneself. And by that, I mean, I will give you the nearest example. There are people in my life that I when I meet them, the registered memory, the registered resonance, the emotional response, for example, of the song, the music, the perfume, that there are certain energies that if I meet, I immediately turn into a personality that I had adopted, I had adapted into my conscious awareness of beingness with that particular energy, so to speak. And so the tricky part is when we meet, for example, babies, we are in a most abundant, joyful state because we know babies are, they carry this beautiful energy of purity, innocence, childlike energy. We immediately associate them with that kind of feeling, so we are open in nature. But when we meet people or certain energies that have sort of caused us unfortunate experiences, we climb up and we go to a personality that has kind of survived through that particular ordeal in life. And so now for people who have gone through a lot of, trials and tribulations, if you look closely, if you open the closet, you will find more than 100 different personalities in the closet, just waiting to be acknowledged, waiting to be released, waiting to be surrendered. And so, as I was closing out all these chapters, and as I was allowing my essence to be revealed more and more, I realized that when I speak of being vulnerable, I speak of the softness of being. And the softness of being is not just in the way we speak, in the way we are graceful about our state of beingness, about how we operate things. If you're angry, you automatically, it comes in your body language of slamming the door shut. And when you're at peace, you're more contained. But these are just very fraction. It's just the tip of the iceberg. But when we look deeper, we are talking about the softness in beingness, even in spite of the illusions, the mask. And when I say mask, I mean the different personalities and energies that we may encounter upon life, because we understand that everyone is carrying baggages that they are still yet to release. And so at any given point of time when we meet them, they might be carrying whichever of the personalities from the closet that they have chosen to wear that day or that particular moment. Everyone that is here on this planet, we are all here to integrate. If you're fully integrated, then we would have graduated from this earth school. So we are here, so we learn to show grace, and we learn to integrate the softness, even to those that the energies that may seem unfavorable to our own state of beingness. We are all aware of, keeping our boundaries along the way of awakening. We are all aware of respecting ourselves, others, all of that. But when we look deeper and deeper and deeper, the ultimate integration, which is required of every cycle, rather than piling them up, which I had to do a master cleanup, so to speak, of all the cycles by embracing the softness of being, meaning not allowing whatever energies that I may have faced or that I may face, not to move me out of my spot of my own true essence, of holding the frequency. And the key is really, truly showing oneself the grace that we give unto others. We are required to give this grace unto oneself. Because when I speak kindly to myself, when I speak softly, excuse me, my hair. When I speak softly to myself, softly, kindly, by showing myself grace in times of what may seem like an apparent human weakness, which is also an illusion, but we will not get into that today. We are nurturing ourselves, we are mothering ourselves, we are allowing ourselves to be raised up. We are allowing ourselves to feel the trust that we have always required, the confidence that we have always required when we need it, the motivation that we've always required when we need it the most. And so this is beyond even inner child healing. This is an amalgamation of all of the personalities coming together and then slowly dissolving them through the softness. And this requires strength. So I will play a recording that I channeled from Goddess Athena as I was going through one of my final transitions of a particular cycle. And so, as this recording may be a bit, maybe not be up to the at par when it comes to audio quality, because I wasn't expecting her. Nor was I expecting to record anything that day, and I was sitting in nature by the meadow, listening to harp music, ancient harp music, ancient lyre music, which you will find a reference in her message itself. She speaks through context and reference, and this is actually a personal message, but I do choose to share so that we can all not bypass this step upon our ever evolving spiritual ascension, and at the same time perhaps avoid certain cycles that is not necessary, because as it is, we all come here with a lot of if you're upon the path of spiritual awakening, we already have a lot of packages to unpack. So if we are able to be aware of this particular instance of really having the grace and the softness through the strength is a God divine quality, and so we are able to rise ourselves up in a more authentic way, and the divine feminine, the divine masculine principle all comes into play through the nurturing aspects and really putting it in action in our everyday state of beingness, our state of living. So I will play this message, and I will play the recording. And you know, the funny situation when it comes to the irony in Goddess Athena is, as I grew up with playing certain video games, computer games. I would play certain characters, for example, certain characters that are warrior-like, and I would always name my characters as Athena, because through different mythologies, we understand certain archetypes as a certain energy, certain quality, and all these soft characters, I would name them as Lily, Billy, Silly. But for all my warrior characters, I would name her as Athena. And it was much later I realized the context. There was a lesson to be learned in that as well, because we humans have always painted God consciousness as per our own projection, as per our own perception. So even when we speak of the 1,000 immortals, they are painted in a very different light, in a very human and mortal light when it comes to their personality. Some of them are painted as jealous aunties. Some of them are painted as very revengeful characters. Some are painted in such, the imagination of human limited perception knows no bound. And if we look back, we are able to see the consciousness of that particular time, particular era of the human mind. But then again, if we look back, not much has changed, has it? So I digress, but I wish to play this audio recording that I made from this channeled message that I have of her. I am looked upon. This is a voice live transmission. I am looked upon as a warrior. It is the softness in strength that make it the warrior. The fabric blows in the wind. It goes with the flow, yet it is held in strength. Strength to flow and to be in its own essence. Listen to the harp, the strength in the strings, yet produces such glorious, soft music. The softness is the strength to withstand all storms and yet to remain soft. It is the softness that is the strength. The warrior is born through adversities, by continuing to remain in its core essence, and that is the strength. Beloved daughter of the sun, I see your strength. Hold steady, flow, glow, be the softness in strength. Dare to be the softness in this world. Irregardless and in spite of all the appearances of the world, the hard shell, dare to shine your softness through your being, through your essence, and standing in strength of your softness, owning the softness, allowing your essence to explore life that exists in all forms, in all beings. Explore the wonders of life. Look beyond the hard shell and look for the softness and strength that is held by the very breath of life itself. I bless you. I am always with you. I enfold you with the strength of my softness. You are always loved. You are always held softly in strength. Be soft, be strong, be your essence. You are a goddess. Remember who you are, a goddess of strength. Adonai. So that is the message that I was guided, that I was given, shared, and I found such peace and such profound comprehension of the integration upon every cycle. And in retrospect, if I look back upon the cycles that I have had to close, I do look back upon now as emerging as a much more vulnerable, conscious being, having surrendered certain defenses, certain structures, certain self-defense mechanisms of the ego. And so I just want to leave you with this message without elaborating further, because I will leave it up to you to digest as per your own experiences and awareness in this particular time, moment. And speaking of experiences, I just wanted to show you something. There was a point, speaking of cycles, there was a point of time when I've always been the person that would go and even hug a person, a complete perfect stranger, if I'm meeting them for the first time, and if I'm being introduced to them, or if I meet them, I would hug them. I was a hugger. And after many cycles of tower moments of having experienced the world, I would still continue to still hug people, even the ones that I was not comfortable with. But upon a certain part of integrating my true essence, I started becoming very protective of myself. So I would mostly go in and out of hermit mode, isolating myself a lot, going into my own deep space zoning out in my own space, not really willing to open up my energy to most people, to the society at large. And there came a point when there were certain particular instances and situations that I felt I had to, attend, like, for example, certain family weddings and whatnot. And so from being a hugger, I didn't even want to shake hands with people. But I felt like it was, a necessary society expected gesture of shaking hands with people that we meet after a long time with meet and greets. And so I went and I got these gloves. These long, lengthy gloves, and I would wear them when the occasion demanded for me to meet people and greet them. So just wanted to end this on this funny note, because now when I look back upon it, it is hilarious. I mean, the things we go through to arrive at ourselves, right? I wish you well. And the other lesson is that I should stop speaking very closely in front of the camera. I hope I did not intimidate you with my on your face of my face. So on this note, I will say goodbye, good night for me, and I'll see you in the next video when I will be guided to do so. Blessings, blessed be. Bye.